Hello everyone and welcome to this audio podcast. This audio podcast is part of a Labostix article. This audio podcast as part of a Helm raid. This audio podcast as part of a Mayhem and Trooper, and this audio podcast as part of a Storm Labostix production. In this audio podcast, some conclusion, a sort of overall conclusion as part of this work, as part of sort of peer-reviewed and published works from 2015. So for young people with CKD or chronic kidney disease, coping strategies can be impaired by normal daily living activities. This in turn can reduce physical activity, the employment, the enjoyment of close friendships, contentment with family, and performance in school or work. If young people with CKD have support to adapt more positive coping-based strategies, this may also enable smoother transition from pediatric renal care to adult renal services, where there are where young people are required to become more autonomous. Prospective investigations should thus adapt a similar qualitative methodology approach, but seek broader opportunities to encourage a greater participation from this population. Once again, to inform, this was a collaborative works from colleagues at between two academic institutions and a youth club and a children's hospital, all where colleagues and collaborators were from the United Kingdom, and the there is in around this peer-reviewed published work sort of finally as well as finally there is an audio podcast series that looks at in around the methodology for prospective works that looks to follow on this investigation, or this works to collect data in around young people with CKD at varying time points as works in regard to works as a longitudinal investigation to understand how young people cope with chronic kidney disease or CKD at varying time points. And the audio podcast again is part of the series. Is part of a another Storm Labostix production series, and is across social media. So again, this draws this audio podcast to a close. This audio podcast as part of a Labostix article. This audio podcast as part of a Helm raid. This audio podcast as part of a Mayhem and Trooper. And this audio podcast as part of a Storm Labostix production.